Hello and welcome to another video. This is the 17th episode of the story in which Jiraiya and Tsunade are supposed to watch over Naruto, but instead Orochimaru takes care of him. How will this affect others as well as both of them? What will it mean for Konoha? This story was written by Brown Phantom. Kindly support him, her. Like and subscribe to help to support videos. Let's start this show. Hinata was in her bedroom writing in her diary. It finally happened, Naruto proposed. I'm wearing the ring right now. He got me a diamond. She paused to stare at her ring, happily admiring it. I know I've said this before, but this time it's not just conjecture. I'm about to become Mrs. Uzumaki. Or Namikaze, I'm not yet sure which name I'll be taking, but I do think Hinata Uzumaki sounds better than Hinata Namikaze. Either way, as long as Naruto is my husband, I could be Mrs. Anything for all I care. Except Hyuga. Don't want that name back. Ever. There was a knock at her door and it opened before she could approve. In walked Naruto, making her smile and get up from her bed. Welcome back, Koi. She said, much like a wife greeting her husband. Hi Hina-chan. I'm a shadow clone, here to tell you that Fuchan wants the real me to spend the night with her. They won't have sex or anything like that, but he did propose to her too, and she really wants to spend one night alone with him. Hinata at first didn't like this, but calmed herself before she did anything. I'm the same way, so I understand her for wanting this. Besides, I get to sleep next to him all the time on missions and during the past month, so I guess I can give her one night just for herself. Alright, he can stay there tonight with her. But let him know I'd like him to send me another clone so I can in some way hold him tonight as well. The clone nodded and dispelled, and Hinata looked outside. 2 down, 7 or 8 to go. The week after the invasion, morale was at an all-time low in Konoha for various obvious reasons. Some of their own had died, they had been defeated by a relatively obscure enemy and their supposed ally, and several respected members of their own forces had betrayed them before it even started with the intention of that invasion happening. Good moods were hard to come by right now. Most of the ninja were in denial about what all they had seen and heard. Despite the testimony given and logical conclusion of everything they had been told, they wanted to believe it had all been a trick. Of course, not all of them could. Damn those ninja. If I see a single one ever again in any scenario, I'm killing them. Asuma declared angrily while he was drinking in a bar. Accompanying him were Kakashi and Guy. I can't believe Sensei switched to their side. Kakashi muttered ruefully. They had to have tricked him somehow. You know that's not true, Kakashi. Guy told his friend. You heard him, he sacrificed his life for us all and he only had one wish, which as a whole was not honored. If I were in his place, I'd feel more than a little spiteful myself. But we didn't know. He should have understood that. Kakashi defended. How does that make it okay, Kakashi? Guy asked, sounded a bit angered. How is ignorance an excuse for violence? Are you saying it's perfectly okay to harm someone, even a child, as long as you don't know who they are or where they came from? I'm not like that. Kakashi said, defensively. Bullshit. Guy said, surprising others with his vulgarity. I recall on the day after the Kyuubi attack you were one of the first to call for the baby's death. Since you were the Yondame's only student left, we figured you of all people would best know what he was capable of doing. You led, nay encouraged, all of us to think the worst about the boy. But didn't you hear? The Uchiha did a village-wide genjutsu. I was a victim too. Guy rolled his eyes. Even if I believe that, your Sharingan, which you had at the time, should have given you some resistance to the genjutsu. But it was still new to me. And my other eye was vulnerable to influence. Kakashi pointed out. Guy looked like he was disgusted. Kakashi, do you even regret what you've done? All I'm hearing is you trying to justify your actions, as if you shouldn't feel guilty for them in the first place. But I was misled like all of you were. No one ever told me you could seal a demon into a human without it taking control of the human. You've seen movies like The Exorcist. What was I supposed to think? Kakashi asked. And, in this story Kakashi did not know Kushina was a Jinchuriki. Besides, there's nothing in canon that confirms he did know. You were supposed to have faith in your sensei. Guy told his rival. And if a student doesn't have faith in the teacher, no one else will. In the meeting room of the councils, the Shinobi Council had gathered together to try and select a Hokage. With Sarutobi, Hamura, Koharu, and Danza now dead, it was left to just the clan heads. So far options for Godame Hokage were limited, and the debate showed little sign of ending soon for several reasons. All this arguing is getting us nowhere. Shikaku, please reread the procedures so everyone will settle down and be civil again. Inoichi said to cease the endless bickering. The Nara head groaned and pulled out the book on Konoha law, reading from the marked page. In the event the Hokage is killed and no replacement was appointed, the role must first be filled by the preceding Hokage unless they are dead or physically or mentally incapable of doing the job again. In that situation, it falls to the Shinobi Council to decide up a suitable Hokage to take the mantle and fill the role until the role is taken. We know this already. Some irritably said. Shikaku ignored it. The Shinobi Council is required to select a candidate from a list of specific criteria in order to ensure the right person fills the role. The candidate must be a registered member of the Konoha Shinobi forces who has not retired or been forced to leave the line of work. The candidate must be Jounin rank or higher and have no less than a year's experience in such rank. The candidate must still be capable of fighting in war if needed. And as first instated by the Sandame, then removed by the Yondame, then reinstated by the Sandame in his second term, the candidate cannot be a Jinchuriki. The Shinobi Council is themselves able to select any person who fits the above requirements, but no one involved in the vote is allowed to nominate themselves. Attempts to do such or second the nomination will be considered invalid. While members of the council are not forbidden from being nominated, they are not allowed to nominate themselves or other members of their clans. Such activity is grounds for questioning if the self-nominator is truly working in Konoha's best interests and can result in a TNI session to uncover the motive. What's your point? The representative of the Sarutobi clan asked. He was Koshiro Sarutobi, brother to Asuma and father to Konohamaru. Unlike his brother, Koshiro didn't have a falling out with his father and stayed in Konoha. He was a talented jounin and had signed the monkey contract, but he was more of a technician than a warrior. He worked in the decoding department and TNI department, and would often work on the machinery they had to make the jobs easier. Like his brother, he was very angry at Oto for his father's death. My point is you all have spent the past few days trying to get either someone from your own clan elected or someone who would rush to war right away. What we need right now is someone who can get Konoha back on its feet before it tries to knock another villages off its own. Shikaku stated. And if you're so smart then who do you think should be Hokage? You? The new representative of the Hyuga clan challenged. He was Hiryu Hyuga, Hayashi and Hizashi's father and head of the elder council of the clan. He was officially retired but had to step up to the responsibility until his deceased son could be replaced. I'm forbidden from nominating myself, and even if I was I would deny it. It's far too troublesome for me. I said all this to remind you all of what we truly need. Our village has suffered a lot lately, and our greatest concern right now should be the people of our village, not our own desires for power or thirst for vengeance. We need a Hokage that will give our village its spirit back, not turn us into a war machine. We are at war. Koshiro stated. No, we were attacked. A war doesn't officially start until we retaliate. And right now we have bigger priorities than retaliation. Shikaku countered. And what exactly are these priorities, Mr. Smart Guy? Koshiro challenged. Well, for starters there's repairing our city, tending to our injured, being on our guard in case another assault comes soon, and trying to calm down the fire daimyo. Shikaku listed. Yeah, let's not forget Daimyo-sama is not at all happy from what he heard. Inoichi added in. We should consider ourselves lucky we at least convinced him the part about Yondaime-sama being brought back to life was a lie. But he's still offended that the supposedly strongest hidden village of all was brought to its knees by a village he didn't even know existed until last month. We're still here and able to fight. That counts for something. Hiryu Hyuga pointed out. All that shows is the enemy village has plans for us. Inoichi countered. Maybe we can use that to show we're strong enough to withstand an invasion, but with all the rumors being spread it sounds more like we were simply spared the worst. Which, let's be honest, we were. Isn't there anything positive we can use to lift the people's spirits? That would help our progress. Shibi asked. I know one thing. Koshiro said. What's that? Inoichi asked. I overheard something very interesting in the hospital the other day that should be of great value to us. Koshiro said before going to the door and opening it. You can come in now. In walked Sasuke, looking a little less antisocial than normal. Just what are you getting at, you monkey? Tsum asked. Simple. Sasuke, please show them. The Uchiha looked at them all cautiously like he suspected they had ill intent for him, but he closed his eyes and when he opened them, everyone could see they were now red. Oh Kami-sama. The Sharingan is back? How is this possible? Sasuke deactivated his Dojutsu. I think the Oto-nin gave it back to me. Gave it back? Why would they do that? Inoichi asked. Forget that, how could they do that instead? Tsum asked. Sasuke shrugged. I don't know. But it's a clear sign that Oto has complete control of our bloodlines and are not a threat to be taken lightly. When did you get your Kekii Genkai back, and how? Shikaku added. I'm told that in the Forest of Death when I was unconscious that those Oto genin did some kind of jutsu on my eyes and told my teammates something would happen to me around a month later. I didn't notice anything different about myself until last night when my eyes felt weird. I looked in the mirror and my Sharingan came back. I double-checked with a medic to make sure it wasn't some kind of trick. We should check Kakashi too. Koshiro said. We should, but this is rather illogical. Shibi said. Why would the enemy give him his Dojutsu back? What do they stand to gain from it? It is indeed unusual, but we can still take advantage of this. Koshiro replied. Take advantage of? Sasuke repeated, not liking the sound of that. Oh, we didn't mean it like that, Sasuke, but you must realize that having the Sharingan back is a great boon to our village. Yeah, I imagine it would be. Sasuke replied, sounding suspicious. Something wrong? Unkai Kurama asked. Just wondering what this council has in mind for my eyes, especially since this very council told me that they had just been using me before I lost it. Sasuke said, narrowing his eyes at the clan heads. We never said that. Koshiro countered. I was there. I heard this council tell me that without my eyes I was nothing to them, and I have proof that my grades in the academy were tampered with to make me be the Rookie of the Year when it was undeserved. The true Rookie of the Year was supposed to be Shino Aburame, but this council ordered teachers to make my grades higher since I couldn't surpass him in time for graduation on my own. I dare you to tell me you were doing that selflessly. It gave you the confidence you needed to stand up to your brother when you have to, didn't it? Koshiro responded. Sasuke just sneered. There's no way that's your motive. And even if it was, what concern is it of yours if I kill Itachi or not? What if he comes back to kill more of us? So I'm a shield to you? Sasuke asked. No more so than any other ninja is. Koshiro answered. Sasuke's expression did not change. That's not exactly a no. That answer could easily be interpreted to mean every ninja in Konoha is meant to be a shield to you all. Well, to a point every ninja is. When you became a ninja you agreed to defend Konoha, and that includes the people in it. People like us. For a moment Sasuke looked like he had tasted something sour, but he returned to normal. Even so, what makes this council believe he'd come back and kill more? Does Itachi have a reason to target any of you? A few got nervous at that question and he caught that right away. Did anyone here actually interact with Itachi and keep this from me? Only in ways that were required back when he was an Umbu. Shibi answered. Why do I get the feeling something is being kept from me? Sasuke asked himself, suspicious of the wording since it didn't say anything about what was actually done those times. Itachi is my concern, not yours. Fraid not kid. Itachi is a missing nin of Konoha. He's a concern to all of us. Some told him. Then why am I the only one who actually wants to see him dead? You aren't. We want him gone too. That's why we placed him in the bingo book. You just never bothered to notice before. In your obsession with killing your brother, you ended up convincing yourself you're the only one who can and forgot we have Hunter Nin for this sort of thing. Inoichi pointed out. Maybe you're right, but why exactly am I here right now? Is it just to prove my Dojutsu is active, or is there more? Sasuke asked. Koshiro smiled. That was part of it, but I really brought this up because I think we should consider promoting you to Chunin. There was a stunned silence in the room for a moment, but before any of the other council members could say a word Sasuke did. No. No? Koshiro repeated. You're turning down a free promotion. The real question is why are you offering it in the first place? I never made it to the finals and the daimyo and everyone here in Konoha knows it. Giving me a promotion will look very suspicious on your end. Koshiro Sarutobi, why on earth would you believe giving him a promotion just like that would be a good idea? Some all but yelled. Don't you have any idea how insulting that is to the genin that actually made it to the finals? We can say he got it as a reward for his contribution in the invasion. The late Hokage's son defended. I did nothing in the invasion. Sasuke admitted. I was home the entire time, and by the time I was convinced to go outside the battle was over and we were gathered in the village for that announcement. If you say otherwise we will too. Koshiro told him. Shikaku narrowed his eyes. Do not presume to speak for all of us. If anything, if Sasuke here saw his village was in danger and knowingly turned a blind eye to it, then he deserves to be fired, not promoted. I agree. Hiryu added. Be reasonable. Morale in Konoha is at an all-time low. The people need something to lift their spirits up. If they were to hear that the last Uchiha fought valiantly in the invasion to protect his home from those monsters and regained his Sharingan and became a Chunin despite being sabotaged in the exams, they would realize Konoha can and will recover from this minor setback. Minor? Some repeated, offended. Are you blind? Our Hokage is dead, all 3 Sannin have betrayed us, the Yondaime has deserted us, the enemy has 3 Bijou to use against us, and apparently 10 years ago we treated the Yondaime's son worse than crap. How is this in any way a minor setback? We're still alive, aren't we? He asked. By that logic anything short of genocide is a minor setback. Shibi argued. Why are you here again instead of your brother? He at least understands how we do our work. You've gotten too used to working in a lab to think like a ninja anymore. Inoichi asked. Asuma's too angry to be rational right now and he forfeited his right to have any say in these meetings when he fought against our father. So like it or not I'm the Sarutobi representative. Koshiro explained. But you are not the voice of the council. We need to select our new Hokage before we decide who to promote to Chunin. Shikaku told him. This is at least quicker to accomplish, is it not? Koshiro argued. It's still feudal as the Hokage is the one who makes the promotions official. Some pointed out. And none of our genin won their final matches anyway. While it's true winning isn't mandatory, we still have to discuss their performance so promotions cannot just be given out. Hiryu added. Let us focus on getting our Godame Hokage chosen first. If that's everything, can I go now? Sasuke asked. Sure. Some told him. Thanks. He said before leaving the room and the bickering adults to their business. Sasuke made it back to his apartment without any fuss, which he was grateful for. Looks like she was right. He told himself once he was inside, then went into his bedroom and pulled out an envelope he hid under his mattress. When Mikoto left his apartment during the invasion, she left behind something for him among the debris she used for a substitution. A letter with his name on it, which he spotted before he threw everything out. Curious, he opened it, and kept a hold of it knowing it was important for later. Later apparently came now, for Sasuke pulled the letter out and read it again. Sasuke, under absolutely no circumstances must you show this to anyone. If you do show it to another person or even so much as let another person touch it, a seal drawn in white ink will activate and turn this paper to dust before they recognize the first character on it. What is written here is for your eyes only, so keep it that way. I know you don't accept my reasons for what I did, but you don't know the entire story. Like with how things were done here in Konoha for your sake, you were unaware of what was going on and saw only what you wanted to see. But I don't want to use the entire paper telling you where you went wrong, instead I'm going to tell you something else. In time you are going to regain your Sharingan. Don't ask how or why, just be glad you will. When you do, some people in Konoha are going to try treating you like they used to, like you were some kind of celebrity. They may even offer you a promotion to Chunin, which keep in mind is something they would not even consider if you did not get your Sharingan back. My question to you is, how will you act once they do? Be careful in your answer, son, for I'm only going to give you this one chance to show me what kind of person you've become. You might think this is unfair of me, but sadly son, not everyone will give you fair choices, not even your parents. Konoha will give you an offer, and I will give you another. It's up to you to decide what you want. My offer to you is this: come with me to Oto and learn what I have to teach you. Before you decide, keep in mind I have no intention whatsoever of helping you kill your brother. No mother should be expected to work at killing her son, even a criminal son. If you come to Oto, you must put this obsession of yours aside at least enough to find something else to live for too. Sooner or later Itachi is going to die somehow, with or without you being the cause, so you need to have something else to live for after that happens. Especially if you happen to die before Itachi does or someone beats you to killing him. Didn't think of that all these years, did you? No, I didn't. Sasuke thought now, just like he did the first time he read that. I always assumed that no one and no thing could kill Itachi but me. Not even natural causes. I still don't like admitting it, but Itachi is mortal after all and can die, even if not by my hand. I just never considered that until Mom pointed it out. Some genius I am to ignore something so fundamental. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm offering you this opportunity, son. The thing is, I still want you in my life. I know I don't deserve that given the fact I stayed out of it of years, but there was more going on than just what you want and what I want. But now we can be together, but this time you have to come to me. So I ask you, Sasuke, is that acceptable to you? Can you put aside your desire for blood long enough to see what else there is to enjoy in life, or is your need to prove yourself better than Itachi more important than your clan's honor? That part confused Sasuke the first time he read it, because he was so certain killing Itachi was necessary for the clan's honor. But Mikoto apparently disagreed and let him know it. Killing Itachi may be avenging our clan, but in your effort to redeem our clan's honor, Sasuke, you've been destroying it. When you became a ninja, you took an oath to fight for the good of your village and your team, not only for your own ends and ego. Having a fancy name or heritage doesn't make you a better person than everyone around you, and it certainly doesn't give you the right to treat them as less than human. If anything, it means you have a responsibility to be more honorable, so you set a good example. A clan is only honorable as long as its members are, and with you being the only Uchiha in Konoha, the Uchiha are only likable as long as you are. If you saw someone else acting like you used to, would you like them? No, but then again they wouldn't be me. Sasuke told him. But then again, that's proving her point. In short, my son, you will be given two options. Stay in Konoha and accept what they give you, or come with me and accept what I give you. Keep in mind both sides, yes, even mine, have at least some selfish motive for what they offer you. In a month's time I will approach you to find out your choice, and that will be your one and only time to choose. I'll see you then, son. So she'll be back in 3 more weeks. Sasuke told himself. I see what she meant by Konoha's offer. Now that I have my Sharingan back, some people here are going to pretend they never turned their back on me. I don't like the implication that I can only get benefits if I repay the favor someday. I mean, I'm the one chance this village has at getting the Sharingan back. They shouldn't expect anything more of me than that, so why should I have to earn my keep in this village? I've already earned it by being their only hope for having the most power Kekkei Genkai in the world be here. Sasuke felt a rare pang of conscience and knew why, even though he didn't like admitting why. That's the kind of thinking Mom said made her hate me. But I don't understand. Why would she hate that? She's an Uchiha too, surely she knows as well as I do that we are the best and Kami-sama made the world specifically for us, and that's just how it is. Why would she hate me for being right? Unless it wasn't right? He closed his eyes for a moment, and in that moment he recalled one important thing he had overlooked for years. All that talk about Uchihas being superior to everyone by nature, that came from the council and Umbu and shopkeepers, but I don't remember any actual Uchiha ever saying that. My father did say it was our right to rule, but even he didn't talk like Kami-sama was in our shadow. So is it possible that all this time I've just been thinking what everyone else wanted me to think? Whether it was true or not. Has Konoha been brainwashing me in a way? Sasuke sat down on his bed. What do I decide to do? I've already seen what Konoha thinks of me. If I stay here I might be forced to kill my mother someday too, but if I leave I can't kill Itachi. How do I decide this in just 3 more weeks? I'm positive this is what he meant. Niji said to himself as he went into his father's study, which used to belong to Hayashi before his suicide. Hisashi didn't go in there often as it reminded him a lot of his late brother, but there were times he put the room to use. Mostly when he didn't want to be disturbed. To Niji though this room always would be his father's room, as he no longer had any memories of Hayashi. He had heard about his uncle but ultimately thought of him as a disgrace for his suicide. Such action was unfitting for such a noble clan, like they were above seppuku in any form. Niji knew Hayashi did it because he couldn't live with the grief of losing his wife and daughters, but Niji had always assumed that if the gods had wanted them to live they would be alive, and their death was a sign the gods no longer favored them. Why mourn those the gods themselves did not care for? Otosama's death was not an act of God but an act of man, thus it is okay to mourn for him. And I swear the ones will die by my hands even if I have to come back from the grave to make it happen. Niji told himself as he looked around his father's study. The only reason he hadn't been here before was clan business and reconstructing Konoha got in the way, but now that he had some free time he was going to find out what his father had been trying to tell him. Using his Byakugan, Niji saw something hidden in the room. A wall safe? Instead of a standard lock, it was a numerical lock. A combination, that's what he was telling me. He wants me to see what's in the safe. Thanks to privacy seals all over the Hyuga estate, you couldn't really see beyond the room you were in without a window, and apparently there were seals inside the safe so Niji couldn't see what was inside it. Removing the wall scroll that was hiding the safe, Niji began to adjust the dial. 1, 4, 3, 9. He heard a click, and reached for the handle. Moving carefully, he succeeded in opening the safe and gazed inside. What he saw was a manila envelope with his name on it, on top of a black box the size on an average shoe box that had the Hyuga emblem stamped on it. Curious, Niji took both out and chose to open the envelope first. Inside were several sheets of paper with Hisashi's handwriting on it. Niji, if you're reading this, then I am dead now. I'm just glad you were able to get the combination to this safe to see my final words to you. I don't know who or what killed me or why, but I wrote this for if it happens. Keep in mind most ninja parents leave these letters for their children if something goes wrong, like you may someday do. For your own son. I imagine that you want nothing less than my killer's head on a platter. While I understand your desire, I do not condone it. What? Niji thought. How can he not want me to avenge him? I imagine that my words confuse you, but they should not. Think, my son, have I ever been the type of person to insist on blood for blood or an eye for an eye? Before you say that's how ninja think or how the Hyuga clan think, I repeat, have I ever portrayed that attitude before? Niji had to think it over, trying to remember any time his father had insisted that someone suffer. But he couldn't remember a time when Hisashi had called for anything worse than something humiliating rather than lethal. The fact is, Niji, I am not that kind of person. I believe in justice, not vengeance, and I do not want you to walk the path of vengeance. If you try to kill my killer now, or actually strive for that to happen, you are not honoring me but instead just being vengeful. Killing them because you want them dead, not because I want them dead. If you must kill them, do it because it has to be done, not because you want it to be done. Oto-sama, that makes no sense. They have to die. They deserve to die. If my words are not enough to convince you, son, then maybe your own words will. If I am dead at someone else's hands, then obviously the gods favored them more than me. Maybe it was just my time and they were the instrument of the gods. If you seek them out, you are the instrument of your anger and pride, not the gods. I do not want that for you, my son. You are to be head of the Hyuga someday, and our clan will never improve if it is led by people who put their desires above all else. I believe you have the power to unite the clan, to bring it to the glory it always wanted but never could reach because we fought among ourselves. I believe you can do more for the clan than I was able to. If you want to honor me and make me proud, be that Niji. Be the leader the Hyuga need. Niji closed his eyes and set the paper down. Okay, Oto-san wants me to take his place, not obsess over his death. Even though I still feel those Oto-nin and that girl with our eyes deserves to die for it, I will not insult Oto-sama by ignoring his last wish. Oto says they invaded us because we refused to do something we were asked to do. I will not prove them right. I will kill them, but I will trust the gods to provide me the opportunity rather than go out and make the opportunity. With that in his mind, Niji decided to unseal the box and looked inside. The contents surprised him, but it made him smile. Thank you, Oto-sama. You gave me a means to avenge you when I do get that opportunity. You ready for this? Isaribi asked her teammate. I've been ready for this since I came to Oto. Hinata replied. Can you even remember your life before then? Isaribi asked skeptically. Hinata shrugged. Barely, not even to bother remembering. Remember when that guy tried to crush me with news about my father's death? I wasn't being cruel, I honestly don't remember anything about him other than I didn't feel comfortable around him. And I was 3, what 3-year-old can't feel comfortable around her own father? Isaribi shrugged in return. I'm not judging you. At this point I can't even remember my own parents anymore. That surprised Hinata. You know, now that you've mentioned it, I don't remember you ever once saying a word about your parents. What's there to say? My life before you guys found me is a complete blank. I was 3 too, so that's not unreasonable. I don't remember anything about my mother or father. For all I know, they're dead. And if they aren't? Hinata questioned. Isaribi shrugged nonchalantly. Would it really make much of a difference if they were still alive? It did to Naruto. Hinata pointed out. He was happy to see his mother still alive and his father brought back to life. He didn't go out and look for them or pine for them to come back to him. In my case, the only ways I can find out about my parents are sheer chance or actually looking for a trail of clues. And I don't have the slightest idea where to start looking. I decided long ago that if I spend the rest of my life not knowing who my parents are, I can live with that. You sure? Isaribi nodded. Yes, because once I marry Naruto-kun too, I'll have the kind of family I've always wanted. But enough about me, this is your day, Hinata. The white-eyed girl nodded and smiled warmly. Yeah. I'm surprised it's happening so soon, but I'm not going to complain. You aren't getting cold feet, are you? Hinata shook her head. Not at all. I've wanted this too long to chicken out now. Too bad some of us have to wait a little bit longer. Isaribi commented, looking at her left hand and the pearl ring she had on it, happily remembering when she had gotten it. Flashback, Isaribi was going for her ritualistic early morning swim in the pool of the Otokage Tower. As usual, she was going to swim in her normal clothes as opposed to a swimsuit. Since she knew a minor jutsu that allowed her to dry her clothes in moments, it didn't really matter to her what she swam in. Also, she said as a ninja she wouldn't have the luxury of switching into a swimsuit on the job, so moving in water wearing her normal outfit was part of her training. When she started she was the only one in the room, but when she came up for air the first time she saw Naruto had entered wearing his orange swimsuit. This was nothing new, since he went swimming with her all the time. Hi Naruto-kun. She greeted with a smile. Hi Isaribi-chan. Nice to see you aren't skinny dipping as I feared. Why? Don't you like my body? It's nice, but what if someone got here before I did? The purple-haired girl got to the edge of the pool, crossing her arms as she placed them on the edge while resting her chin on them. I'm a kunoichi Naruto-kun. I can defend myself, especially when I'm in the water. But I am happy you worry for me like that. What kind of guy would I be if I didn't worry for my girls? He asked, sitting on the edge beside her, placing his feet in the water. An overprotective guy if you worry too much. Isaribi answered. Come on in, the water's fine. Something I wanted to do first. He told her, confusing her. Isaribi-chan, have you changed your mind at all since the time we discussed us? It took her a few seconds to grasp what exactly he was asking, but once she did she shook her head. No, my opinion's still the same. I care deeply for you Naruto-kun and want to be with you for the rest of my life. Why? Naruto gave her a reassuring smile, the kind that made her feel like all was right with the world even if only for a moment. I'm glad to hear that, because I've got something for you. Isaribi tilted her head curiously while he reached into his pocket and pulled something out. The second she saw what it was, Isaribi was so surprised she almost forgot to keep herself afloat. Is that what I think it is? Naruto held out a silver ring with a pearl on it. Isaribi-chan, will you marry me? The purple-haired girl jumped out of the water like a flying fish to engulf the whiskered blonde in a hug, knocking him into the water and by default going in with him. Heedless of the water she kissed him with reckless abandon, stopping only when he struggled to get some air. Sorry Naruto-kun, I got a little carried away. She apologized, hoping she hadn't ruined the moment. Next time I surprise you, I'm doing it away from water. He joked, making her chuckle with him and feel reassured again. Oh, I dropped the ring. Isaribi dove under and looked for the ring, seeing it at the bottom of the pool and being pulled towards the suction of the filter. Racing, she grabbed it before the filter did and emerged. Got it. Is that a real pearl? He nodded. Yep. I thought it suited you because people have to dive to get them, and you love being in the water. What better gem than one that came from underwater? Isaribi smiled and placed the ring on her left ringer finger. I love it, but not as much as I love you, Naruto-kun, she said before kissing him, this time being careful not to potentially drown him. End flashback, you'll get your turn soon. Let me have today, Hinata told her teammate. And tomorrow. Don't forget about tomorrow, the swimming enthusiast added. Hinata smiled and nodded. How much longer? I'll go ask someone. Isaribi then left the room. In her time alone, Hinata couldn't help but look at herself in the mirror, and smiled a bit, allowing herself a brief moment to be vain. Her reflection showed herself wearing a white dress without shoulders or arms, but she did have white gloves on that went up to her elbows and a little past them, a thin mesh covering for everything between her neck and top of her dress at the bosom, and black shoes sticking out of the base of the dress. A white obi was wrapped around her waist to pinch the dress tighter but not make it uncomfortable, so her figure wasn't truly hidden by her outfit. I'm still surprised they make wedding dresses for girls my age, she thought to herself. I'm just glad they do. There was a knock at the door. Come in. The door opened and Hitomi walked in. She smiled warmly at her daughter. My, you look lovely, Hinata. Thank you, Oka-san. You sure grew up fast. I can still remember the first time you kicked me when you were in my womb like it was yesterday. And here you are today, about to get married, the elder Byakugan bearer said wistfully. Hinata blushed but continued to admire her ceremonial white kimono, checking to ensure nothing was out of place and everything that was supposed to be covered was. I'm surprised too. I thought I'd have to wait until I was 16 at least to become Naruto-kun's wife, but I'm not complaining about having it today. Are you truly not bothered by having it happen so soon, considering why it has to happen? Hitomi asked her daughter. Hinata nodded. Yeah, I'm okay. I know it's a little rushed for necessity, but Naruto-kun and the others were very considerate with this. Besides, if we don't do it now, Fuchan will be in danger of deportation. I'm not going to be selfish and leave her to suffer all so I can have things done my way. I almost ruined things that way, I'm not doing that again. Hitomi smiled. That's very mature and noble of you, Hinata. Though I admit part of me is glad you at least have to postpone the honeymoon for a week. It's just practical. Why go on a vacation for just 1 or 2 days? Next week will be more opportune. Why? Don't like the idea of me being deflowered? Hinata teased. Hitomi blushed too. I highly doubt any mother anywhere likes to think about her child having sex, especially their 13-year-old. And any mother that should be in the civilian equivalent of a bingo book. Just promise me you will use birth control. But remember, the CRA requires me to get pregnant within a year. If I'm not, then Naruto-kun will be charged with taking advantage of the polygamy law and have all marriages legally annulled. Hinata stated, citing an addendum of the CRA law. The law did in fact legalize polygamy, but it only allowed it for reproductive purposes. If it appeared the person using it wasn't trying to reproduce, in a legal sense they were breaking the law and punished accordingly. Just be careful. A 13-year-old body isn't exactly ready for pregnancy and birth even if it can survive it. Hitomi warned. Trust me, Oka-san, I'll be careful. Hinata reassured. So how soon until it's time? We're supposed to start at noon, remember? It's an hour away. Oh, guess I lost track of time. I wonder how Naruto-kun is doing. Hinata thought out loud. Naruto, dressed in a ceremonial black men's kimono, lacking any orange at the request of everybody, was being groomed by his mother and godmother while his father and godfather sort of stayed back, not wanting to get in the women's way at the moment. Damn it, can't this hair stay down for just 1 minute? Kushina complained when she combed Naruto's hair, trying to get it to stay down with no success. If it's anything like mine, you know it can't. Minato commented. Ditto. Jiraiya added. So Naruto, what name will you and your new wife be taking tonight? Tsunade asked, straightening out any imperfections she could find on his kimono, be it his obi uneven or a ruffled crest on his leg. For now we'll be using Uzumaki. Hina-chan tells me she always imagined herself as Mrs. Uzumaki when we got married, so she wants us to at least start that way. We might change it to Namikaze once we're certain Konoha can't come after us. Yeah, going around calling yourself Namikaze is bound to alert Konoha and even Kumo. I know they can't find this village yet, but for now it's best if it stays that way. Kushina commented. You know it's not too late for a bachelor party. Jiraiya joked, well prepared for the dirty look Tsunade gave him. For the last time Orochimaru, I don't need one. I'm getting 9 wives, so why would I need to see strippers? Naruto told the Toad Sage. Because you're a guy. Jiraiya offered. Not the same kind of guy you are. Naruto claimed. Where did I go wrong? Jiraiya mock complained with a fake sad shake of his head. I'm just glad I didn't miss this, my son's wedding. Minato added. Changing the subject. Same here. Kushina added. And with 9 girls at least one of them has to be like me. Huh? Naruto asked, confused. Oh that, when we were sealing Kyubi in you, part of my words to you were to find a girl like your mother to make you happy. Kushina told him, then threw down the comb. That's it, I give up. Your hair is impossible. Hina-chan likes it the way it is anyway, so she won't care. Naruto reassured. Besides, I don't want to feel like I'm marrying a younger version of you. Oh no, I didn't mean find a girl just like me. By like me, I meant a girl that can love you even if she knows you're not perfect. A girl who when she says she loves you she means it, not just trying to get you to do something. Yeah, that's Hina-chan. What about the others? Tsunade asked. I don't doubt any of them, but since I'm marrying Hina-chan today I'm trying to keep my mind on her. It wouldn't be fair to her if I thought of other women on her wedding day. The whiskered blonde stated. Good boy. Kushina complimented. I'm not a dog, Oka-san. Naruto whined. Anything else needed before the ceremony starts? Tsunade asked. I think appearance-wise he's fine, all he needs now is a little man-to-man time with his father to settle any frayed nerves he may have. Jiraiya said. Frayed nerves? Naruto asked. I'll handle that. Minato offered. Everyone nodded, and with a kiss on the cheek from Kushina everyone but Minato left the room. The former Yondaime Hokage approached his son and sat down before him, hoping the level would make him look less intimidating as he spoke so his words would have a more positive impact. I bet you're a bit nervous, son. He started. Naruto shrugged. I'm alright. I mean, after fighting in Konoha this should be easy. Trust me son, this isn't easy. A fight's one thing, it's something you were prepared to do for years, but a wedding and the life that comes with it is completely different. Minato countered. Are you saying I shouldn't do this? Naruto asked. Minato shook his head. No, not at all. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to get you to see you can't go into this the same as you would a battle. Naruto, it's natural to be a little nervous. I myself was when it was my wedding, but it was all worth it. Surely some part of you is nervous about what this all entails. The more you pretend otherwise, the worse it's going to hit you when you have to go through with it. Naruto sighed. I guess I'm worried about how this changes things. I mean, Hina-chan and I got along for years just fine, then the council shoves this thing on us both and it almost tears up apart. I know she's trying now to be more supportive, but what if she falls back into that old pattern? I'll lose my oldest friend and all the girls might end up too busy fighting over me for any of us to remain friends anymore. Well, no one ever said marriage was easy, but it's definitely worth it. You know, my father once told me that marriage was a lot like ninja training, everyone knows the risks involved, but that doesn't stop people from getting it. Minato replied with a light chuckle. I'm not going to lie and say it will never be tough, that you will never have fights or nothing can go wrong. Marriage isn't a fairy tale. All you can do is try to make your partner happy and live a life you're proud of. If you can do that, then no matter how rough times may get, you'll live a happy life. What was your roughest time with Oka-san? Naruto asked. When we were married? Minato asked, then tried to recall that memory. I'd say, the time in her pregnancy she was experiencing cravings. One day I must have thought out loud a little too loud and she heard me. I said I wondered if she was just using pregnancy cravings as an excuse to get ramen daily. Let's just say I had to make my own dinner that night and hold everything she bought on one especially expensive shopping trip without using clones. Oh, my back was killing me that day. But luckily we never went to bed angry. Naruto snickered a little, imaging his father whipped like that, even though he knew he might be in the same situation in the future. Hearing you go through this makes me think this won't be so bad. And besides, at least you'll both be there to help out when the kids come. I hope you do the same. Minato commented with a sly smile. Naruto tilted his head in confusion. What? Oh, nothing, forget that. Come on. Let's get out there. The ceremony's about to start. Minato said as he got up. Still confused by his father's words, Naruto followed Minato and went where he had been instructed to stand. The wedding was officially about to start. That was a nice ceremony. Fu thought as she laid in her bed hours later that night. The wedding and reception had ended about an hour ago. For the past hour Fu had hung out with her teammates saying what they'd do differently for their own weddings when they happened, and now she came home to her apartment. Naruto-kun looked so charming in that outfit, and Hinata, she was okay I guess. But I'm going to look much hotter than her when it's my turn in 2 days. The wedding had been simple but sweet, with vows, sharing sake, and sealing the union with a kiss. Hinata threw the bouquet as usual and Fu cheated a bit to catch it, meaning she used Shichibi's chakra to grow some wings to fly and grab it. It was a bit childish, she admitted it, but in all fairness she was the next in line and wanted to reinforce that. Now I understand how Hinata felt months ago with letting us know our places. Guess when push comes to shove I'm similar. Fu thought. I wonder if Naruto-kun and Hinata are already consummating the union or not. Well, if she isn't, doesn't mean I can't when it's my wedding day. No reason I should have to remain a virgin once I'm wed. A crackle in the air cut off her train of thought and made the green-haired Jinchuriki alert. Someone's trying to break in. Who'd be stupid enough to try? Time to be a fly on the wall and find out. With that she shrank to insect size and went to the central room of her apartment, clinging to the walls with her chakra. Unless someone looked close at her in the dark, they'd assume she literally was a fly on the wall. The window in that room was then shattered, since it was sealed to ensure it couldn't be opened from the outside lest the one trying that feel like they touched a bug zapper. Hence the crackle she heard earlier. With the window broken someone jumped in, followed by an accomplice. With the lights out it was difficult to identify them, but Fu was positive they weren't Oto Ninja. Fortunately she had another trap set up for if someone got this far in. The intruders screamed in pain and fell on the floor, realizing too late that at night Fu covered the floor of her front room with caltrops. Enough that it felt like they had basically jumped onto a pile of shattered glass. Fu laughed at their expense. Good thing I went for the more expensive shoe-piercing caltrops. Not too many ninja work barefoot. You sure it's here? The first intruder asked the second, voice confirming it was a man as he struggled back to his feet, picking the spiked weapons out of his soles and other parts of his body that landed on the floor. The ones in his ass hurt the most. For the last time, yes, now shut up. Don't let it know we're here. The second replied, also a man. Unless it sleeps like the dead I'm sure it hurt us. The first stated. Oh, I heard you jerks, and if you're careless in my home you'll be the one sleeping like the dead. Fu said to herself, wondering if she should stay and watch or go alert the altos. Not every day I get to see my traps in use, so let's enjoy the show for a bit longer. While Fu was busy, Naruto and Hinata were enjoying themselves in a hotel room in a town in land of rice away from Oto. This wasn't their true honeymoon, but their parents felt they deserved to spend their wedding night in a place with privacy. The true honeymoon would come next week, so for now they had tonight and tomorrow. The day after tomorrow Naruto would be marrying Fu before promotions were announced, and he would have a similar night alone with her as well. The room wasn't fancy, but Hinata was too giddy to care, especially with Naruto carrying her over the threshold like a good new husband. My husband. She thought with glee, sneaking a peek at the wedding ring accompanying her engagement ring. Naruto gently set her on the bed, and before he could let her go she pulled him into a kiss, which he didn't really want to resist anyway. I take it you're happy? Why wouldn't I be? She asked. I was a little worried that everything was a bit rushed and today wouldn't be as good as you dreamed it would be. He told her. Hinata kept on smiling and twirled some of his hair with her finger. I was with you at the altar, no one objected to us being together, and now I can call myself Hinata Uzumaki. That's what I dreamed about. She then started to get up. Now if you'll excuse me, there's something I need to do in private for a moment. Just hold tight and get comfy. She then walked into the bathroom taking a scroll with her that Naruto clearly saw. I wonder what she has in there. Naruto asked himself as he made himself comfortable on the bed. While he laid down he removed his jacket and socks, leaving himself in a black shirt and dark blue pants. After the reception he saw no reason to get being dressed in fancy clothes. After a moment the bathroom door opened and Hinata strolled out, leaning against the frame. How's this look, Naruto-kun? She was wearing a nightie that was orange but see-through, allowing him to see the dark royal blue lace panties she had on, and if he wasn't mistaken she had no bra on. At that sight half of Naruto's blood was trying to come out his nose while the other half was trying to support his erection. Enko-sensei got me this, though she worried it might be too much for you. Hinata said as she crawled onto the bed and held herself above her new spouse on her hands and knees. If it weren't for the fact he was under her it would look like she was ready for doggy-style sex. It's very, very, see-through. Naruto managed to make himself say. Hinata giggled and set her bottom down on his thighs. After seeing me bare in the pool at Konoha you can get embarrassed by this? If it's this unexpected then yes. He stated. Also I sort of thought you might not want to do this tonight. Why would I do that? No way I'm going to start off my married life by blue-balling my husband. The white-eyed girl reassured before she slowly started to take her nightie off. Are you not in the mood, Naruto-kun? If I wasn't I'd have to kick my own ass then send myself to a hospital for a CAT scan. The whiskered blonde told her as he began to tug at her panties slightly. She wiggled her hips a little to encourage him, then he pulled the garment down to her knees, forcing her to adjust her legs for it to come completely off her. Your turn for clothes to come off, Naruto-kun. Hinata told him, herself completely naked now and not embarrassed to be that way for him. He sat up, stood off the bed, and tried to take his clothes off in a way that was meant to be sexy for her. To be honest it just looked like someone undressing normally yet slowly with a poor copy of a stripper's smile on their face, but Hinata didn't complain. He stopped at his boxers. I took off your underwear, so how about you take off mine? Hinata grinned and complied, reaching out and removing his undergarment from him. Thanks to the skinny dipping incident and her Byakugan this wasn't her first time seeing him bare, but this time felt different. It felt natural, instead of like she was doing something she wasn't supposed to do. The pool must have been cold that time. You're bigger now than you were then. She told him as she pulled him onto the bed then positioned herself so her face was above his hips. Hina-chan? He asked, confused on why she'd want such a close look. Let me do something for you I wanted to save especially for tonight. Just relax. She reassured before carefully touching his manhood, stroking it a little to get it more erect. When she was satisfied she surprised him by taking him in her mouth. Hina-chan. Naruto gasped, not expecting his first choice of wife to do something like this. Not that he hated it, but it was unexpected. Did it hurt? Hinata asked, taking her mouth off him. No. I was just surprised. It's okay, I'm not going to bite you or anything. She joked. I sure hope not. I really need that. He joked too. Hinata smiled then once again wrapped her lips sensually around his erect organ. With her mouth full she started bobbing her head. Rather than try and suck him off she preferred to merely massage his penis with her lips and tongue and let him release naturally. She could already taste his pre-cum but she didn't really have a way to describe the flavor. Salty, but strangely better than I anticipated. Your mouth feels great, Hina-chan. Naruto told her, making her blush and move faster. Getting an idea, Naruto silently created one shadow clone and had it sneak behind her. The clone knelt down and started licking her slit between her legs. The unexpected sensation made Hinata stop what she was doing and look behind herself. Naruto-kun? No reason I should be the only one pleasured right now, but I couldn't exactly reach you from this angle. The original answered. Then let's change that. Hinata offered before moving herself into a proper 69 position. Hey, what am I? Chopped liver? The clone asked now that it was no longer needed. Naruto dispelled it rather than answer, and after putting up a silencing barrier jutsu he began to please his wife with his mouth while she returned to doing the same. Like Hinata, Naruto couldn't really describe what he was tasting, but he at least didn't find it terrible. I heard Orochimaru once compare this stuff to honey. Doesn't taste like honey to me, but it feels sort of like a watered-down version of it, so maybe he wasn't completely wrong. Thanks to Hinata's actions Naruto got closer to the brink, so he inadvertently increased the pace of his tongue going up and down and around her sacred opening. This in turn made Hinata close to climaxing and she moved faster too, up and down his manhood. Now it was like a race to see who would come first. The winner of that race turned out to be Naruto as he released his cum into Hinata's mouth. Hinata attempted to swallow it all, but some of it did leak out of her mouth before she could. Naruto had to pause his efforts to pleasure her to catch his breath. Damn, Hina-chan, where'd you learn to do that? He asked once he stopped panting. Anko-sensei made me and Isaribi practice on carrots before the Chunin exams. She answered. I must say the comparison was all wrong. Carrots taste completely different and aren't warm at all. Plus they don't move or come with a cream filling. Remind me to thank Ne-chan when we get back. Naruto said. He was about to finish his job on Hinata's genitals, but she moved to sit atop him instead. Enough mouthplay, I want the real thing now, Naruto-kun. I want you to make me a real woman. I want to show you how much I love you. She insisted. To her surprise and joy he moved her to be under him for once on the bed. One question first, are you using birth control? Naruto asked, getting his dick in position and getting it coated in Hinata's juices to make penetration smoother for her. I thought about it, and I think it's best we don't use that for now. I know we don't have to get pregnant right away, but we do need to show we're making an effort at it. So for now let's enjoy ourselves and let it happen naturally. In that case, Naruto said just before activating his Neo-Byakugan. Better ensure if it does happen the baby gets a bloodline. Hinata had always liked this Kekei Genkai of his, it was like they had a symbolic connection between them all this time, and was the main reason they trained together a lot as kids and got to be as close as they were now. Not only that, his Byakugan was much warmer than those of the Hyuga and Konoha, and different than the ones her mother and sister had in a way she couldn't really put into words. Take me, Naruto-kun. I'll go insane if you hold out any longer. She lovingly pleaded. As you wish. Naruto stated, then followed through with his claim and thrust into her, ripping her virgin barrier and getting as deep as he could all in one move. Hinata screamed in pain but locked her legs around him to prevent her lover from withdrawing. The pain felt much like being hit with the Juken or Suridoken, only more localized than spread out over the body. No stranger to being affected by either fighting style, Hinata recovered from the pain quite quickly. You can move now, Naruto-kun, she whispered. Naruto obeyed and began pounding his new bride. With this being his first time, he was very enthusiastic about this, but he wasn't going to rush it. Hina-chan's not going to disappear any second now, so I shouldn't be in a hurry to finish this. Besides, she needs to orgasm too. Hinata was moaning happily, moving her hips to coordinate with his thrusts. She even tried angling her hips to make him strike her insides in different ways, making her feel a variety of sensations. How does it feel, Hina-chan? Naruto asked as he moved his hands to her breasts and gently held them and rubbed them to turn her on more. He knew it was working because she tightened around him and got wetter. It's amazing, Naruto-kun, Hinata replied, gasping as she did. Ride me harder. Ride me so much you should be using a saddle in order to do it. Now's the perfect time to show you something your mom taught me, Naruto said before activating his Neo-Byakugan. You see, there are some pressure points that are a bit harder to hit than others. One such point is the famous G-spot, and with the right use of the Byakugan that can be hit perfectly. What are UOH? Hinata asked, then stopped when she got her answer. Naruto was using the Suridoken with his dick to hit her G-spot, making her have an intense orgasm right then and there. Naruto. The aforementioned boy never stopped thrusting into her despite her iron grip tightness on him, giving her a second orgasm right after the first one ended thanks to his G-spot poker. He stopped the Suridoken then, lest Hinata get a heart attack from non-stop consecutive orgasms. Not the worst way to die, but I don't want to become a widower yet, he thought. Hinata collapsed panting and still felt him in her, moving back and forth, slower than before for her sake. She was worn out, but she wanted him to have his pleasure before he stopped. Naruto-kun, kiss me, she asked, and he complied. When he kissed her, she held him to her, forcing him to work at a sedate pace so she could recover for one more climax. They broke the kiss when Hinata could handle more and Naruto was getting closer to his release. He pounded faster, harder, making Hinata quiver with pleasure despite her weariness. For further effect, Naruto used his Suridoken with his hands this time to hit some of her more sensual pressure points to rejuvenate her more for this one last orgasm. The effect was like some drug and Hinata completely forgot she had ever been tired. If anything, now she felt like the other orgasms had just been foreplay and now the real thing was coming. Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun. This is incredible. Make me come. Come inside me. Impregnate me. I want your child. She wasn't even aware she had said that until after she finished, and while it made her blush, she knew deep down she wasn't just caught up in the moment. Part of her really did want to get knocked up tonight despite her age. With Tsunade and some of the best trained medics in the elemental nations, she wasn't at much risk for complications anyway. Naruto was at his limit and pushed himself in as far as he could get inside her. Hinata, he shouted as he filled her insides, which were still extra sensitive thanks to his pressure point hitting, allowing her to come one more time. Their act finished, Naruto laid down on the bed beside his wife, still connected to her. Wow, I'm surprised sex makes a man feel so drained afterwards. Even with my stamina, I need a few moments before I can go again. Not to mention your mate might need a few hours. I'm impressed, Kit. Kyubi commented. Naruto turned completely red. You were watching? I was curious. I mean, all my time in Mito and Kushina I was forced to see how mating between humans happened from the vixen's perspective. For once I wanted to see how it was from the males. The bijou confessed. Please don't do that again. Naruto requested. How exactly are you going to stop me, Kit? Kyubi teased. Naruto-kun, thank you. I love you. Hinata peacefully cuddled in his arms, feeling more content and at peace than she ever had before in her life. I love you too. He told her. How were you so good for your first time? Hinata inquired. I could ask you the same thing. He told her, mind off the fox inside him. Both giggled a little, then relaxed in each other's arms and in the afterglow of their lovemaking. They were so relaxed Naruto actually forgot he still had his Niobe-Akugen. Back in Odo, Fu was laughing so hard she was in danger of wetting herself. The intruders in her home seemed to be falling for every one of her traps. One got shot in the testicles with a staple gun behind the bedroom door, the other got his hair burned off by a blowtorch in the bathroom, and both of them fell through a trap door into the empty apartment below hers where there were even more traps like oil on the floor. And these guys thought they could catch me? The green-haired girl asked herself, more than just amused. A crash sound could be heard along with the words, "Ah, my nose," making her laugh more. Oh, I can't believe that one worked. Did he really think the door to get out wasn't booby-trapped too? It's almost embarrassing. Alright, they're probably not going to leave for a little while. I should go alert someone now. Fu thought when she could stop laughing. Moving through the open window, she went outside and returned to normal size when she jumped to the ground. Once she was full size, she was caught by surprise by 3 ropes made of water springing at her and wrapping around her tightly. Fu struggled to get loose, but the liquid bindings were as strong as chains. Good work, his aim, Murasame, Kirisame. I'm surprised the target was this easy to capture. Oto must be a complete failure as a ninja village then to produce such a feeble shinobi. A man said, stepping out of the shadows. He was an older man with wild spiked dull brown hair held under a dull tan bandana and wearing a dark gray outfit one Fu quickly recognized. You're from Taki, aren't you? She hissed. Originally, but now I work for myself. Taki wouldn't let me have their precious hero's water, but if I offer them you I'm sure they'd be willing to trade, lest I use you against them. The man said. Fu didn't know whether to scoff or groan. As much as I dislike Taki myself, I'm not letting you use me as a tool or bargaining chip. It's not like you have a choice here, Shichibi. Oh, I don't? Fu asked before shrinking small enough to be unseen, thus escaping the water restraints. Where did she go? The group asked, looking around for her. Fu reappeared on her roof, flaring her chakra to alert the village security, enough to give her a zero-tailed bijou cloak. Let's see how you feel when this bug steps on you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more content. Support the original author by clicking their profile link in the pinned comment of the first video of this series. They deserve the love. Want early access and exclusive content? Join my Patreon community, link below. Your support fuels these videos. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay entertained, stay safe.